It is going to be a really exciting session today on TISSNET, part 1 of verbal ability. So let the aspirants join quickly and then we can kickstart the proceedings today. Please respond if you can hear me. Good evening to all of you out there. Okay, so today's session is going to be on TISSNET, and I bring to you the very first part of this series, and we are going to talk about some popular questions from TISSNET, and I have taken these questions from the previous year papers. My name is Pradeep Sengupta, and I am your VARC mentor, and today we are going to discuss on some of the popular questions on TISSNET. So without any further ado, let us begin the session today. Now, what are we going to discuss? We all know that when we talk about the verbal ability section, the students more often than not are quite anxious about their score, the level of questions, the level of difficulty, so on and so forth. So we all know that we are through with CAT, we are through with ZAT. We have seen the levels of questions being asked in different exams. We have seen the pattern also. Now, with respect to the CAT examination and the ZAT examination, many students ask us about the LOD, the level of difficulty of TISSNET verbal ability. Well, let me tell you that the TISSNET verbal ability section is not going to be as uphill as CAT or ZAT. It is going to be moderate. I will not stick my neck out and say that it is going to be easy for you, but the questions are really, really going to be tempting, right? And when I say tempting, I mean that it borders around being moderate and easy. But it is always safe to consider the questions to be moderate so that we are absolutely careful when it comes to the options and the selection of the answers. Now, when we talk about the TISSNET 22, this is the expected format this year that we are expecting. In GK, in general awareness, we'll have 40 questions. In English, we are going to have 30 questions. In maths and logical reasoning, again, there will be 30 questions. So overall, we are expecting 100 questions to be solved in 100 minutes. So this is how the breakup of TISSNET is going to be this year. Talking about the English section, let me tell you, you are not going to face, tricky questions or complex questions. The questions are going to be really tempting, as I have already told you. Please join quickly so that we can talk further. It is really going to be an interesting session today. RCs are going to be as constant as the pole star throughout all the exams that we have in CAT and the other OMETs. Now, parajumbles, again, they are going to feature in TISSNET, but let me tell you, the questions are not going to be as complex and tough as we had faced in ZAT and CAT. Talking about parasummary questions, there will be one or question on parasummary, but primarily, we are going to focus a lot on grammar, questions based on error detection, questions based on fill in the blanks and parts of speech. And if you can see over here, this is quite a number. This is quite a large number of questions. 9 questions out of 30 are going to be based on grammar. You may have more, you may have less, but we are going to border around 7 to 9 questions in grammar and spotting the errors. Now, when you talk about vocabulary, the synonym questions and the antonym questions, and again fill in the blanks, we will see around 7 odd questions, 6 to 7 questions on vocabulary. So if you just take the sum of it, it boils down to 16 questions out of 30 just on grammar and vocabulary. So you can very well imagine the type of practice, the kind of practice we have to do, the kind of hard work we have to put in. When I say hard work, I just mean solving more and more questions based on grammar, solving more and more questions based on vocabulary, so that we don't run short of adequate practice. We need to practice hard when it comes to grammar questions and vocabulary based questions, because this is going to be the game changer. तुम्हारे सामने game changer यहाँ पे है, right? Because आप देखो, we have not practiced grammar so much when we were solving mocks for CAT. And for any exam for that matter, हमने उतना ज़्यादा grammar पे काम नहीं किया है. That is why I'm not saying our grammar is poor or our grammar is not up to the scratch. All I'm saying is that we have not had adequate practice in terms of sentence correction, in terms of error detection, so on and so forth. Neither have we done so much of practice on vocabulary. So it is very important that right now, because we are just around the corner, TISSNET is just there, hanging around the corner. So we have to practice a lot of questions on grammar and vocabulary, and multiple and different kinds of questions, from lower from easy questions to moderate to difficult. We have to practice as many questions as possible, and let us be very, very eclectic in our choices, right? Grammar based questions which are easy, grammar based questions which are difficult, and also quite a few questions based on synonyms, antonyms, and fill in the blanks based on these areas. So today we are going to discuss a few questions from this category, because we are going to have 2 sessions, 2 crucial sessions on TISSNET verbal ability. Today's session primarily will focus on the practice based on grammar questions and practice based on vocab questions. In the subsequent class, we will talk a lot about RC questions and parajumble questions. So let's get the ball rolling and let us focus and figure out some of the questions which I have curated for you. I thought that these questions are going to give you enough insight into how the TISSNET 22 question paper verbal ability section will look like in terms of grammar and in terms of vocabulary. So you have the very first question right on the screen over here, question number 1. And what is the question? It says choose the option that would make the sentence grammatically most correct. You have to choose the option that makes the sentence grammatically most correct. You have to find out the option that actually gives you the right syntax and grammar. So what is the question? The question is, whose life is it anyway? A, no change, the sentence is correct as is. B, whose life is it anyway? C, who life is it anyway? Or D, whose life is it anyway? Each question we'll roughly spend around 20 seconds to answer, and then we'll move on to the next question. All right, so what is the answer over here? What is the answer over here? Whose life is it anyway? So this question, if you look at this question carefully, this is a question based on WH question type. This is a question based on WH question type. All right. किसकी life है? This is the Hindi of it. किसकी life है? So you are asking a question, whose life is it anyway? Should it be whose life? WHOSE. Should it be who life? Or should it be whose life? Now, if you look at C, who life is it anyway? This is completely illogical. It does not make any sense. We don't speak like this. We don't write like this. So who life, if you just read the question carefully, this stands for first round elimination. This is incorrect. Whose life, we do not use an apostrophe with whose because the word WHOAC itself is possessive. It shows possession. So the correct option in this question would be B. Whose life is it anyway? So in the WH question, the word that shows possession is WHOAC. WHOSE. So in this case, the right option is B. Whose life is it anyway? So this was a fairly easy answer, fairly easy option to pick. So B was the right answer choice. This was question number 1 for you. Can we move on to the next question? Always remember that you have to read the question properly in order to bring home the right answer, right? The questions are going to be relatively readable. You can read the question and that will give you, the right answer choice. But then if the reading is not correct, if the reading is not happening, as it should be, then we may face a few problems selecting the right answer. Let us look at question number 2. What is the question? Choose the option that would make the sentence grammatically most correct. So similar kind of question as we faced in the first one. It was also a question based on choosing the grammatically correct option. We are going to do the same with this question. 20 seconds and then we will discuss the question. What is the question, by the way? The question is the house as well as the garden were to be treated for a termite infestation. Okay, so the question was the house as well as the garden were to be treated for termite infestation. What was the logic and what was the topic in grammar that this question is trying to test you on? This question actually is based on subject verb agreement. This question is based on subject verb agreement. And what is the concept? The concept is to check the right structure. The house as well as the garden. So when we talk about subject verb agreement, we know that the principal thought that governs this structure tells you that the verb in a sentence must agree with the subject in number and person. जो verb है वो subject के साथ agree करना चाहिए in number and person. Number मतलब singular and plural. Singular number and plural number. If the subject is singular, the verb should be singular. If the subject is plural, the verb should be plural. When I say number, what exactly do you understand by number? Number means the first person, the second person, and the third person. All right. Now, here we have a concept. Let us say we have two subjects, X and Y. Right. So if I write an X and Y, both are singular. So if I write XY, it is plural. If I write YZ, is plural. So X and Y are singular. So the moment you join two subjects with as well as with, together with, along with, alright, as well as with, together with, along with. In such a case, always remember the verb goes with the first subject, the subject which is on the left hand side of the sentence. So in this case, let's say the house is X as well as the garden, it is Y. So the first subject is the house, which is singular in nature. So the subject must agree with, the verb must agree with the first subject. So इस case में what is the verb? Were. Now if you read the verb WERE, it's a plural verb and the subject is the house, which is singular. We need a singular verb over here. Now find out the option that gives you a singular verb. A says no change, the sentence is correct as is. B says the house as well as the garden is to be treated for termite infestation. We get a singular verb over here. It looks all right. C देख लेते हैं. The house as well as the garden are going to. Now this is wrong. This is a plural verb. Look at the subject. The subject is singular. So we need a plural verb which is present in B. So C is not going to be the option. D देख लेते हैं. The house as well as the garden need to be treated for a termite infestation. First of all, need को देखा जा सकता था, but need in this case is a plural verb. We should make it singular. Had it been needs, अब verb हमने singular बना दिया, then we could have thought about D. But among these options, the best option is B, because the first subject is singular, hence we need a singular verb, and we have a singular verb in this case. So our answer to this question should be B. The house as well as the garden is to be treated for termite infestation. So this question was based on subject verb agreement. तो हमें समझ में आ गया that there can be questions, there may be questions which will be based on subject verb agreement. So we have to do a revision of subject verb agreement concept, right? If you have Wren and Martin at home or any grammar book that you have at home, please take that book out and revise all your concepts based on subject verb agreement. All right, that was question 2 for you guys. Can we look at question number 3? See, the questions are going to be pretty logical, right? If you just read the question carefully, hopefully you will get the answers without even thinking. Yes, you have to look at the technicalities. If you have to look at the relevant areas that will test your skills on grammar and vocab. And if you just read the question carefully, hopefully you will get the answers right. All right. Let us look at question number 3. It says complete the sentence with the correct option. You look at the options carefully, it is a test of vocabulary. So we are going to spend 20 seconds on this question and then we'll discuss the question. All right, let us look at the question, guys. The teacher added the stipulation that all projects had to be No student could carry out research on an area that had already been explored by someone else. So, what is the stipulation? What is the condition? The condition is whatever project you have in hand, it has to be absolutely new, and the project should not have been explored. The topic should not have been referred to or explored by anyone else, which means if you look at this area, all the projects had to be dash. A. Original. B. Constructive. C. Extensive. D. Convincing. The last line should give you the option. The project has to be dash. Now it is a test of adjective. If you look at all these words, they all are what? Adjectives. And what are adjectives? Adjectives are describing words. तो तुम्हें कैसा वर्ड चाहिए? तुम्हें ऐसा वर्ड चाहिए जो कि लास्ट लाइन को जस्टिफाई करे. लास्ट लाइन कह रहा है कि आपको ऐसा टॉपिक चाहिए जिसको कभी किसी ने एक्सप्लोर नहीं किया, तो नया होना चाहिए. किसी ने एक्सप्लोर नहीं किया. Nobody should have explored that topic. A says original, right? Original means something which is absolutely new and fresh, never used by anybody, never explored by anybody. So A makes a very strong case. B says constructive. Constructive means creative, right? But if something is creative, we can draw inspiration from the past. It does not mean that something that has never been explored will not be constructive or will be constructive. So constructive is a very general word over here. Extensive means comprehensive on a large scale. And D says convincing, something that convinces you. Of all the four options, the last line, an area that had already been explored by someone else, it should not be on the area that had already been explored. So only when something is original will be unexplored, only then it is original, right? So going by the last line, the most logical option that we can drive home is A, original. So the teacher had the stipulation that all projects had to be original. No student could carry out research on an area that had already been explored by someone else. So A should have been the answer. Question number 3, the answer is A. So just by reading the lines carefully, the lines of the question carefully, and attacking the right part can lead you to the right option. Right? Eliminate कैसे करना है वो भी आपको सीखने की जरूरत है. किस पॉइंट पे हमने एलिमिनेट किया? कंस्ट्रक्टिव को कैसे एलिमिनेट किया? Why did we eliminate extensive? Why did we eliminate convincing? And what led us to option A? So read the question carefully. You will get the answers hands down. That was question number 3 for us, guys. Let us move on to the next question. All right. Read the question and tell me what is the concept being tested. What is the concept being tested? Question number 4. Complete the sentence with the correct option. We are talking about sentence completion. Complete the sentence with correct option. We were so delayed that the football match dash by the time we dash. 20 seconds and then we'll start the discussion. All right. Let us see what the question is. The question says we were so delayed, itna der ho gaya tha, that the football match dash by the time we dash. Now, a careful look at the question will help you understand the concept. The sentence begins in the past tense. And if you look at all the options, already finished, arrived, had already finished, arrive, already finished, arrived, had already finished, arrived. So you are supposed to use the best past action that the options are offering you. Since we are talking about a past action, we were so delayed. We are talking about getting late. That the football match dash by the time we dash. Now look at this group of word. By the time. So we are actually comparing two past times. We are comparing two past actions. We are comparing two past actions. When we deal with past tense, right, always remember this pyramid scheme. This is the past tense pyramid. I call it the past tense pyramid. Right? In this pyramid, you have the past action 1, and then you have the past action 2. So 1 is the older past action and 2 is the latest past action. And always keep this technique in mind. The older past action must be in the PPT format, the past perfect tense format, and the latest past action should be in the simple past tense format or the SPT format. And when you say past perfect tense, PPT, past perfect tense, it is had plus V3. V3 means the third form of the verb. So we were so delayed that the football match dash by the time we dash. So when you arrived, you noticed that the football match had already begun. So the older past action was, or the football match had finished. It should have been had already finished by the time we arrived. So the older past action should have been in the past perfect tense and the latest past action should have been in the simple past tense. Hence D should have been the option over here. Already finished does not make any sense over here. Had already finished is okay, but the second tense happens to be in the simple present or present indefinite. Again, there is no match at all over here. A says already finished, arrived. Well, this blank should have taken the past perfect tense and not just already finished. It is illogical. Hence, the option that we are going to choose is D, had already finished and arrived. Please brush up all the concepts of tenses because no matter whatever exam you write after CAT, there will be some questions that are going to test you on your tenses. So you must know your tenses as you know the back of your palm, right? Most importantly, you must work on the sequence of tenses, right? So it is important to know the types of tenses and the functions each tense has to perform. Also, it is equally important to know what are the sequence of tenses. Brennan Martin covers the sequence of tenses very comprehensively. So just go refer to that book and understand the concepts of the sequence of tenses. Okay, let us move on to the next question. All right, this is your next question. Complete the sentence with the correct option. Read the question and then we'll talk about the solution of it. Try to do it. Alright, so the question is complete the sentence with the correct option. Again, similar kind of question. It says, it's a wonder that Dash still such a popular band even after 20 years of being on the music chart. Going by the options, it is again a question based on subject. In this case, the subjects are pronouns. We have to choose the correct pronoun formation that should match with the verb. Still such a popular band. A says they are, it means they are. We are working with the contractions. Theirs, the possessive form of theirs. C says there and D says THEIR, there. Which option is the right one is something which you have to guess, right? In this case, it is a fairly easy question. The option that talks about the short form of they are, so they are still such a popular band even after 20 years of being on music chart. The right option is 1, they are. They are still such a popular band. So you see, the contractions, the pronoun and the formation of pronouns, it is all about going back to basics. Remember, TISSNET is not going to test you, right, on complex concepts of grammar. They are going to test you on the basics of grammar, the fundamentals of grammar. So it is important to go back to the basics, brush up the skills, come back, work hard, and get the score through the roof. So A should have been the answer over here. They are. So we need the pronoun plus the verb combination, and that comes absolutely clearly in option A, and that is your option. They are still such a popular band even after 20 years of being on the music charts. That was question number 5. I don't think this was a tough question at all. Anybody could have done it. All right, moving on to the next question. So this is an FIB question, fill in the blanks question based on vocabulary. Read the question, we'll discuss it in 20 seconds. So the question says complete the sentence with the correct option. हमें correct option choose करना है. यही तो कर रहे हैं अभी से हम लोग. We have been doing it for the last couple of questions now. The itinerary set by their travel agent included so many stops in a, put a question mark over here, dash amount of time that they received only the most dash impressions of the places they visited. Okay, what is itinerary? It's a plan of journey. Right? So whenever we go out, we make an itinerary, right? किस डेट को कहाँ जाएंगे, कैसे जाएंगे. So the travel agent had set a plan of journey, the itinerary. It included so many stops. Now there comes the look at the tone. It included so many stops in a dash amount of time that they received only the most dash impressions of the places they visited. Let us look at the options. Sufficient, cursory, generous, abiding, brief, fleeting, and limited, lasting. What is cursory? Quick. Sufficient, ample time. Generous, big-hearted, right? Abiding, obeying, following rules. Brief, short. What is fleeting? Fleeting is again short or temporary. Limited, something which is not abundant, it is limited in nature. Lasting, durable, or for a long time. But if you look at the question carefully, the itinerary set by the travel agent included so many stops in a dash time. So what can the word be? Dash amount of time. Don't you think it should be brief amount of time that they received only the most fleeting impressions of the place they visited? इतने कम समय के लिए वो हर एक point पे रुक रहे थे because there were so many stops. They did not have lasting impression of the places. If they had stopped at each and every spot for a longer period of time, they would have had lasting impression of the places, but that did not happen. They stopped at every point for a very brief point of time, and that is why they had temporary impression of the place. So the tone of the sentence can lead you to the option. Among all these options, sufficient हो नहीं सकता. Cursory, quite possible, but if it is sufficient, you don't need cursory. You need two words of the same category. They must have the same connotation. Plus, plus, or minus, minus. Positive, positive, or negative, negative. Brief over here is making a negative impact. Fleeting also is making a negative impact. That is why our answer should have been C, brief and fleeting, fleeting, and this was the answer option, the right answer option, right? You stopped, so many places were there, so you briefly stopped at every places, and that is why the memory, the impression of those places were temporary or fleeting. So C should have been the right option. That was question number C for you. Question number 6 for you guys. Let us look at question number 7. Again, an FIB question, but now we are dealing with a single blank question. Read the question and then we'll discuss. All right. So this was fairly quite a straightforward question, don't you think? Was it difficult? Yes or no? It wasn't difficult. Most of you have zeroed in on option C, and let me tell you, option C is the answer. Absolutely right. Now, Sumanta Bhattacharya is asking why not D? Absolutely fine. Why not D? We'll talk about it. Let's go back to the question. Nearly dash by disease and destruction. This word is important. Disease and destruction of their habitat, their natural habitat or their home. Koalas are now found only in isolated parts of eucalyptus forest. What are we talking about? We are talking about mass destruction of the habitat. The word is destruction, and destruction must lead you to decimate it. Although damaged, is a negative word. Dispersed means to scatter, right? Dispersed means to scattered. Destroyed is also a very strong word. It is also a very strong word, right? Decimated means to kill or destroy in large number. in large number. I always tell in all my sessions that there is no such thing as the right option or the wrong answer, a wrong option. It is always the best option. So among these options, guys, the best option should have been decimated, to kill or destroy in large numbers. From this word, right, and from habitat, right, what happens? Why do we find koalas in, they are either found in sanctuaries, or they are found in very limited areas where we have eucalyptus trees? Because forests, stretches, vast stretches of forests, eucalyptus forests, they have been cut down. The trees have been razed to the ground. So when you have, this destruction happening on such a big scale, the only word that comes to your mind is decimated. Okay, so among this was a pretty close, the options were pretty close. So among these, the best option should have been C, decimated. All right. Okay, Shumanto, I missed it. I think you referred to question number 6, if I'm not wrong. Okay, that was question number 7 for you guys. Let us look at this question. Very quickly, we will try to answer this. Actually, I get to see your responses a couple of seconds late. So the correspondence becomes a bit of a problem over here. Mr. Kapoor recommended perseverance and dash in dealing with the activities rather than uncompromising approach the government had adopted. All right. Perseverance and what is the logic? This is the logic. Mr. Kapoor recommended perseverance and dash in dealing with the activist. Okay, you need perseverance. What does perseverance means? It means persistence. It means persistence, right? It means trying to do something, to keep on doing something patiently for a longer period of time, to show resilience, to keep on doing something. So we need, and perseverance needs patience. Perseverance calls for patience. If you choose option B, guys, persistence is a synonym for perseverance. To be able to do something persistently without losing, and being absolutely regular about it, that is persistence, right? Perseverance can go with patience. You need patience to be persistent. You need patience to persevere, right? But persistence and perseverance, they are more or less the same kind of word over here. Okay. Joviality, being jovial, means being happy, being convivial, being cheerful. That is joviality and jovial, being cheerful. Okay. Acrimony or acrimonious, it actually comes from hatred, right? Acrimony, bad feeling for others, hatred. The only option that we can go with for this question is A, patience. All right, because perseverance or persistence एक ही word हो जाएगा, so you need a different word. It's A, patience. That is the answer for question number 8. All right. So this was again a bit tricky, but pretty doable. So if you can look at the questions, all the questions that we have discussed so far, the questions are very smartly curated. Not that we won't be able to do them, but you need to be super careful while you zero in your answer, right? And believe you me, your marks will be through the roof, let me tell you. BA section is not going to be very complicated, but it requires your extra carefulness. You've got to be very judicious with the questions, judicious with the choices of the options. All right. Okay. Let us look at question number 9. The land reforms were diluted, if not sabotaged, in dash with politicians and highly placed legal officials. Stay with the question for 15-20 seconds and then we'll discuss the question. Okay, so we are talking about land reforms being diluted, if not sabotaged. You get two negative feelings about land reform. We are using two negative words about land reform. The writer is not very happy about the way land reforms are happening. He says it is pretty diluted, if not sabotaged, in dash with politicians. So, in the continuation of negative words, you need a negative word over here, right? A is collusion, which means conspiracy. Agreement, you know what agreement means? To agree, on certain terms. Pandemonium means chaos and confusion. And cooperation is a very positive word. The land reforms were diluted, if not sabotaged, in dash with politicians. You need a word that goes with diluted, that is in line with diluted. So what happens? The property holders, the builders, right? They conspire with the politicians. They have, some kind of agreement with the politicians, and they kind of they grab land, they use land for their own vested interest, and corruption looms large, right? So you need a word that shows that somebody or some people, they have, illegal connections with the politicians when it comes to land reforms. So land reforms are not happening. So the only option that comes close to justify the meaning of this sentence is A, collusion, conspiracy, right? When people conspire with the politicians to grab land, agreement does not go with the tone of the sentence. Pandemonium means utter confusion and chaos. Pandemonium breaks loose when so many people speak together. There is pandemonium. Cooperation is a very positive word. Go by the tone of the sentence. It has a negative tone. We need a negative word. Hence, the best option over here should be collusion. That shows conspiracy. So, A should have been the right option over here. Okay. Keep working on your vocabulary. Please keep working on your vocabulary. Okay. You please attend Nikita ma'am's session. Now, she is a wonderful communicator and she explains the things so nicely to you. Please attend Savitri ma'am's session and don't forget to attend the sessions that we are coming up with last lab to cat, and that is going to give you, an adequate insight into how you should have, how you should go about with the TISSNET verbal ability section. Okay, now enough of vocabulary. Let us come to some grammar questions now. Okay, now here you have to be very, very cautious about the way the questions, the sentences are being framed. Let us look at this question. It says identify the error in the sentence if any. अगर है तो निकालो, otherwise तुम्हारे सामने option D no error वो भी एक option है. That is also an option and it should be considered seriously. Alright? It says modern cinematography techniques are far superior to that employed in the past. Okay. All right. Let us discuss the question. Right? In this particular question, I will try to discuss two very important concepts with you in grammar. Number one, superior. Which part of speech is it? Can you tell me? There are 8 parts of speech. Which part of speech is superior? Anyone? Let's play a game, guys. Huh? चलिए, superior कौन सा part of speech है? Very quickly, do we know? Okay, let me tell you. Superior is an adjective. Alright? And in adjective, we have 3 degrees of comparison. The positive, the comparative, and the superlative. Like fast, faster, fastest, smart, smarter, smartest, so on and so forth. Right? And you might have noticed that comparative degrees, I'm writing it in short, they generally take than. Okay? But there are 4 words like inferior, superior, senior, junior, right? They will generally take 2, inferior, 2, superior, 2, senior, 2, junior, 2. Yes, Jeet, absolutely right, comparative degree. So superior to is fine, there is no problem with it. Next concept. The entire sentence was fine, but for this. Okay, what are we talking about? Modern cinematography are far superior to. We have used are modern cinematography techniques, right? We are dealing with something plural. Are far superior to what? That is a wrong pronoun over here. We need those. Those, this word refers to the techniques which is plural in nature. Alright. So in place of that, we need those. So this was a very important change that took place in C, and randomly, right, we kind of ignored that and we moved on, most of us. Okay. But many of you have answered this question absolutely fantastically. Okay. So superior to those employed in the past. Let me give you one more example. Unlike the cobra, the venom of the rattlesnake is more lethal. I'm just trying to tell you how to use this, that, these, those in sentences. All right. Now, in this sentence, we are making a wrong comparison. What did we say? Unlike the cobra, the venom of the rattlesnake. So what did we do? We compared the cobra with the venom of the rattlesnake. So wrong comparisons. We have made a wrong comparison over here. We should have compared venom with venom and not the venom of one snake with another snake. So you just need a pronoun over here, unlike that of the cobra, the venom of the rattlesnake. So that over here refers to the venom, and the same concept was being tested over here. Okay, pronoun, right? The pronoun antecedent agreement. There are two kinds of agreement in grammar, right? The subject verb agreement and the pronoun antecedent agreement. Now, in the absence of the antecedent, the questions they stop making sense. I'll give you a sentence. I think this question was understood, right? C should have been the option. Let me give you one more example, right? We will come to this question a bit in some time. Let us focus on this question. The guide dropped the candle in water which spluttered and went out. The guide dropped the candle in water which spluttered and went out. The guide dropped the candle in water which spluttered and went out. If you look at the question very carefully, you will find that there is a serious problem with this sentence. The guide dropped the candle in water which spluttered and went out. If you read the sentence, water which spluttered. Look at the placement of this pronoun. It is placed right next to water. So according to the sentence, the water splutters and goes off. Now, how can water splutter, right? Which wrongly modifies water, in place of which you need and it. Now, it correctly refers to the candle, right? If you read, if you just give a cursory reading, right, to the sentence, you will find that the sentence is wrong, which over here does not make any sense. So the placement of the pronoun was wrong over here. All right. So this was pronoun antecedent agreement, and please brush up your skills, brush up your knowledge and basics of the pronoun antecedent agreement also. Okay. On that note, let us go to question number 12 very quickly. Identify the error in the sentence, if any. Okay. So how does the sentence read? The sentence says, in this way, nuclear fission Shumanto, I'm going to come back to this question of yours in a couple of seconds. Let me discuss question number 12 and then we'll discuss this question also. All right, if that is okay with you. In this way, nuclear fission or the splitting of atoms have been achieved. What are we talking about? In this way, nuclear fission, this is subject 1, or the splitting of the atoms, this is subject 2, have been achieved. Look at the use of the verb have. Have is a plural verb. Have is a plural verb. So we have X or Y. Subject 1, nuclear fission, singular subject X. There's a conjunction over here, or. Splitting of atoms, again, splitting is the main subject. It is again a singular subject, right? So two singular subjects joined by the conjunction and conjunction or must take a singular verb. It must take a singular verb. This was the concept. All right. So have been achieved in this way. Nuclear fission. Is this wrong? Is this wrong? Is this wrong? Which one is wrong? The answer is C. C is wrong. In place of have, the answer should have been has been achieved. So the option is C over here, right? Most of you have rightly answered C. The answer is C. Okay. I think you know why it should be C. Ruchita, I hope that it is clear to you now. Okay, fine. Now let's come back to the question. The question was this question. The guy dropped the candle in water which spluttered and went out, which is a wrong pronoun, right? We should have used it, right? Because which would then wrongly modify water, and water cannot splutter and go out. There is a very beautiful concept about relative pronouns, okay? Which, who, whom. Like water, if you keep water in any vessel, it will take the shape of the same vessel you keep water in. Similarly, if you place a relative pronoun near a noun or a pronoun, it starts modifying the noun or a pronoun you have placed the relative pronoun next to, right? In this case, which is placed right next to water, it starts modifying water, which is wrong, right? You need a correct pronoun, and that was and it. It was clearly a cause and effect based question. All right. Okay. Moving on to the next question very quickly, it says identify the error in the sentence, if any. Neither the bank manager nor the other staff members was able to calm the distressed client. Okay. So the question was, neither the bank manager nor the other staff members was able to calm the distressed client. A says, not the other. B says, was able. C says, the distressed client. And D says, no error. Okay. The concept is based on neither nor. Okay. Neither nor, either or, they are known as correlative conjunctions. All right. Neither nor, either or. So there's a concept that goes behind using either or and neither nor. It goes like this. Neither X nor Y, or neither XY nor Z, or neither X nor YZ. Whenever you have such expressions coming your way, always remember neither nor joins two different subjects, and the subjects may differ in number and person. In such a case, always remember the verb agrees with the second subject in number and person. Whenever you join two different subjects with neither nor, the verb agrees with the second subject in number and person. Dusra subject. In this case, neither the bank manager, this is subject number one, nor the other staff members, this is subject number two, and the verb should have agreed with the second subject, right? But the second subject is plural and the verb used is singular, so 2 is wrong. 2 is wrong. The solution should have been were able to calm the distressed client. क्या कंसेप्ट था? Neither nor, दो सब्जेक्ट है. Second subject, whether it is singular or plural, verb उसके साथ agree करेगा simply because neither or nor हम use कर रहे हैं यहाँ पे. That is why the second subject is staff members. Option, the verb should have been plural. It should have been in the plural form. So was के जगह पे हमें word करना चाहिए था, and that is why B is the right option choice. This was wrong. The verb used was wrong. Hence B was the right answer choice. All right. Moving on to the next question. Okay. Find the odd one out. Again, we are going back to vocabulary. Right? Find the odd one out. Okay. This is a pretty straightforward answer question. Tsunami, earthquake, flood, famine. Tsunami, earthquake, flood, famine. Natural disasters. Tsunami causes destruction, mass destruction, earthquake, flood. But famine is of a different nature altogether. This is absolutely different. It means lack of food for a longer period of time, right? Whereas tsunami, earthquake, and flood, they go hand in hand. Famine is the odd one out. So this should have been the right answer choice. This was a pretty straightforward question. इसमें ज़्यादा दिमाग लगाने की ज़रूरत नहीं थी आपको. Okay? Next one. Again, odd one out. Friendly, pompous, affable, pleasant. Easy stuff. Friendly and affable, same thing. Affable means friendly. Pleasant is very positive. Friendly and pleasant, affable and pleasant. He's very pleasant and affable. But pompous, a person who thinks he is very important or overbearing, very proud and arrogant. So this is a negative word. This is the odd one out. Right? So this should have been the answer. Pompous is the answer. Overbearing, proud, arrogant, snobbish, so on and so forth. So this was question number 16 for you. Okay. Next one. A person who knows and speaks several languages fluently can converse easily with people from different countries. This is one word substitution. This is one word substitution. A person who knows and speaks several languages fluently can converse easily with people from various countries. A polymath, a translator, a polyglot, an interpreter. Okay. The answer is a polyglot, multilingual, who can speak more than one language. Who is a polymath? Somebody who is very intelligent. Polymath, knowledgeable. Translator, one who actually does the work of translation, right, from one language to another. Interpreter, one who interprets the language for you and gives it to you in the language you understand. All right. Over here, we required a word that talks about several languages being spoken by somebody. So a person who can speak several languages. So the word is polyglot. Poly means many. Like in maths, you study polynomials, several or many. Okay. So this was again a fairly easy question, not very difficult. Substitute the phrase, question number 18, in bold with a word given below. Usually no one gives a job to someone who runs away from the law. Somebody who is running away from the law, escaping from law or the police. Okay, the answer is, what should be the answer? A says a delinquent, B says a juvenile, C an exile, and D a fugitive. What is the answer? The answer is D, a fugitive. Okay, most of you got this one right, a fugitive. Delinquent is a young person, and we speak about this person very disapprovingly. A criminal or one who is given to crime, a young man who is given to crime is delinquent, right? Juvenile, young, right? Or related to young age. Exile, somebody who has been forced to live away from his country. He lives in exile. An exile, somebody who is actually living his life in exile. A fugitive is the right word over here. So D should have been the answer. Okay. Analogy based question. Please draw comparison over here. Analogy. Okay. Next question based on analogy. Chase is to pursue, bewilder is to what? Chase is to pursue, bewilder is to what? Chase means to go after somebody. Pursue means the same thing. Bewilder. Okay, the answers have started to pour in. That's okay. Okay. Bewilder is a negative word. Okay. To confuse a person. So this leads you to perplex, to trouble somebody, to perplex somebody. Okay. Orient means to look east, to enlighten. Clarify means to, to solve a problem, to clarify, to give a clarification, right? Enlighten means to reveal something, to open up, right? To give a secret to someone, or, just to pass on knowledge. Enlighten, to light up. So the only option that comes close to bewilder is perplex, means to trouble. Okay. Again, another question on analogy. Complete the analogy. Dirty is to filthy. Silly is to what? Dirty is to filthy. Silly is to what? What should be the answer? Such questions you should be very careful about, because more often than not, it has been seen that it is the easier questions we, mark the wrong options to, right? The tough questions we spend time, but easy questions we all of a sudden become quite relaxed, right? Pay equal attention to the easy questions also. Okay, the answer is mundane means everyday. Mundane is a cliche, something which is routine. Frivolous, insignificant, not very important. Frivolous, insignificant, not very important. Dull, not very active. Infuriating, full of anger or angry. So silly comes close to frivolous. If you are frivolous, you are silly. Dull is different. Ankita, please be careful. You have given an answer choice over here, but over here, silly means frivolous. So B should have been the right answer choice over here. Mundane doesn't go with silly. Frivolous it does. Dull, not exactly. Infuriating, poles apart. Right? That was question number 20 for you. Analogy questions. Again, go back to your vocabulary, brush up your basics. FIB question, very quickly let us answer this. He was arrested for marrying multiple times. So what is the option? I think this should be an easy one for you. This should be an absolutely easy one for you guys. Marrying multiple times. So gamy related to marriage. Bigamy, marrying twice. Poly, several times. Endogamy. What is endo? Within, inside. Exo means outside. Bahar. Endogamy, marrying within the limits of a legal boundary or a local community. Within, marrying within a community or within, your own tribe. That is endogamy. Monogamy, marrying once. So over here, marrying multiple times is B, polygamy. That should have been the answer. This was a fairly easy one. Okay. All right. A question based on idiom over here. They had successfully hidden the news of their marriage from everyone. With the date approaching, it was time to let the dash out of the bag. Let the dash out of the bag. It means to reveal a secret. तुम बैग से क्या निकालोगे तो तुम्हारा सीक्रेट भी निकल जाएगा. तुम बैग से क्या निकालोगे जो तुम्हारा सीक्रेट भी बाहर निकल जाएगा. So you let the dash out of the bag. The answer is cat. You let the cat out of the bag. It means to reveal a secret. So this was the answer for question number 22. Question number 23. Fill in the blank. A research student is expected to dash sources in her thesis. To dash sources in her thesis. Cite, 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 cite. Cite, 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 cite. The answer should be we are talking about thesis. So a research student is supposed to refer or quote sources in a thesis. So refer or quote is cite. Cite means vision, and a site means a plot of land or a land on which you construct a building. That is site. CIGST is no word. So over here, the answer should have been C. Cite sources in her thesis. That was question number 23. The second last question of the day. We are going back to spotting the error problems once again. Back to grammar. You have to find out whether there is an error in any part. The following sentence is split in 3 parts and each one is labeled A, B and C. Find out the error in the sentence. Alright. He is waiting for you since 10 o'clock. So which part is wrong? A, B, C, D. Okay. The answer is pretty obvious. It should be A. He is waiting. Why? देखो जब ये present है तुम्हारे सामने since, okay, it is always the perfect or perfect continuous with since. The perfect or perfect continuous with since. So you have since over here. So the verb should have been he has been waiting. A present perfect continuous. हमेशा याद रखो Since guarantees the use of the present continuous or, the perfect or the perfect continuous tense, be it future, be it past, be it present, depending on the situation. So since है, so perfect continuous A में problem है. All right? Okay. The same concept, find out the error. Me and my sister went to the new mall for shopping. Okay. Saurav is loud and clear. It's triple A, sir. Samriddhi, D, sir. Ruchita, A, sir. Anybody else? Okay. एक फंडामेंटल यहाँ पे कंसेप्ट है जो कि मैं समझता हूं कि आपको समझना चाहिए. When we communicate orally, this is how we talk. My sister and me and my sister. But always remember, right? Whenever you are actually, talking about a subject in a sentence, right? This is where the predicate starts from, okay? When you talk about the subject and the predicate, right? It is the SVO pattern, right? The verb and the object gives you the predicate. And before the verb, it is always subject. And in subject, you cannot use me. It's always I. Okay? If it is subject, it's always I. So me and my sister, it should be my sister and I. Okay, it's the third person followed by the first person. My sister and I. This is the logic. Okay, whenever we talk about subject, right, it has to be I, right? Me after the verb. Give it to me, or after the preposition. That is why in this case A should have been the right option. All right. So, practice makes a man perfect. I want you people to practice and follow the C approach. I always tell my students to follow the C approach. C stands for speed, E stands for efficiency, and A stands for accuracy. Okay? Accuracy tab aayega when you solve more and more questions, take more mocks, solve such questions, and you will definitely do wonders. It's all about solving more questions for TISSNET. The questions are going to be tempting, if not easy, tricky and tempting. So in order to come around that trick, you need to be solving more questions. And we at BYJU'S Exam Prep believe in giving you umpteen practice, many practice sets, right? So please keep on practicing, and I hope you will definitely do wonders in your TISS exam. Don't be frightened, don't be nervous, and most of you, let me tell you, you have logical reasoning to negotiate with, you have maths and critical reasoning to negotiate with, GK to negotiate with, and most importantly, negative marking, there is none. So go for the kill. Solve as many questions as possible and try to solve the maximum questions. Attempt maximum questions. All right. Now, this is the news for you. We have begun our last lap to TISSNET preparation from 14th to 23rd. Please don't miss it. We will begin on the 14th. We have started till 23rd. We'll go on and we'll cover everything in detail from maths, DI, English, current affairs, and everything. And to keep connected, to keep in touch with us, please don't forget to join our Telegram group. Talk to our counselor today, join our Telegram group, and this is one huge series which is coming up which you cannot afford to miss. You attend the session, ask your friends to attend the session, and believe you me, it is going to be life changer for all of you. Okay, and all those who have taken CAT and who have got decent percentile, please enroll into our GDPI program, the PI and WAT program taken by stalwarts like Srinivas sir and Gautam sir. They will definitely give you a life-changing session on WAT and PI. Don't forget to join this session. All those call getters out there, please call on this number and get enrolled today. We have rolled out our new batch for CAT 22 preparation. These are the eminent faculty taking the sessions. Come for the, you'll get live sessions, practice questions, and whatnot, right? Vikas sir, Sanujam sir, and Saral sir, they are taking the sessions. They are definitely, not a new face. You know them all. They have been teaching thousands of students. They have taught thousands of students. And please attend. For all those who are actually eyeing CAT 22, don't miss their classes. Also, if you have liked the session today, if you have found the session interesting, we work a lot to get you the best of the best content, guys. Please like, comment, and share this session. Subscribe to BYJU'S Exam Prep and join us. And don't forget to join the Telegram group. Okay. With that being said, it's a wrap from my side. My name is Pradeep Sengupta from BYJU'S Exam Prep. And see you once again. I will be bringing to you one more session. And that session will be on RC and parajungles and other areas of critical reasoning. Don't forget to attend that session in the upcoming week. On that note, it's a wrap from my side. Good night, stay blessed and happy. All the best for TISSNET. Thank you.